I told myself that I lost my baby. Hey girl, hey, it's Ish here. Today is going to be a sit down video. I'm coming to you from inside of my closet. Regularly, I do vlogs, and lately I've been doing a lot of mom stuff, but this is actually kind of mom related, and I just want to share with you an experience that I went through because I truly believe that it could help another woman. I am a parent, a mother of a now 19-month-old little girl. She is my first child. She is my only child. And over a year ago, so almost a couple years ago now, I experienced what I thought was a miscarriage. So this is going to be kind of like a story time. So pull up a chair, get comfortable, get some popcorn, get some juice. I'm going to try to make this under 10 minutes. So my husband and I, Nate, we decided that we wanted to keep our pregnancy secret from majority of people. So the people close to us knew that we were pregnant before the recommended 13 weeks. And the reason I like to think that everyone knows why you wait 13 weeks, because that is when you are at a higher risk of miscarriage. It happens, it's normal, it's hurtful. It doesn't make it, okay, because it's normal, but if you do go through it, it is a trying process. So I really wanted to keep it secret, because any event that I had a miscarriage, then you have to go back and share that information, and I just don't think that I would want to do that. I wouldn't want to do that, especially if we announce it on Facebook. Then you would have to go back on Facebook and announce that you had miscarriage. So we waited 13 weeks. And I swear for goodness, and it's been a while, so some of the details is a little off, but I think less than a week from the time that he announced it on Facebook, I was bleeding. So the day went like this. I had Captain D's. I think it's something that's just in the South. It is like a fast food seafood joint, and I just got rice, shrimp, and broccoli, and fish. It's some, it's really basic. It was grilled. I believe it was cooked all the way through. That's what we were eating because it's, it's kind of healthy. And so that's what I had for lunch. So later that day, it was nighttime. I remember it being nighttime and maybe close to us going to bed, and I had diarrhea. So this is about to be a little TMI, but sometimes I get these bouts of like really, really bad like cramping with diarrhea. And I was going through an episode of I had some diarrhea. I think I even vomited. But there was also blood, and it was, I won't say a lot of it, but it was enough to be concerning. Enough for me to call the doctor's office, which was closed conveniently, and they told me that if I have to put on the maxi pad, if I put on the pad and it soaks up within an hour, then you need to be seen. And I can't say that it was soaking. Did I put on the pad? I can't remember. I'm pretty sure I had to have, because I was bleeding. But I can't say that it was soaking up the pad, but it was enough bleeding. But what was more concerning was the cramping. It felt like I was having contractions at 13 weeks. Now, prior to this happening, Nate and I, we wanted to get a Doppler. I think that's what it's called, where you hear the baby's heartbeat, and we hadn't done so because we were procrastinating, and I think at 13 weeks it might have been too soon. So he left out, it might have been like 8 or 9 o'clock at night, something like that. He left out to go find one, and when he left, I went through the worst of it, where I was in fetal position. First I was on the floor, Then I moved to the bed, and like the cramping, like it was every couple of minutes, just like contractions. That's what it felt like. And I felt like my body was getting rid of my baby. Like it was pretty painful, where I was moaning and groaning, and that went on for at least an hour and a half. And you know, we went through some emotions together, and so shortly after that, you know, Nate was like, we need to go to the doctors. We'll go in the morning. And going through what I went through and thinking the worst, I was like, what for? There's nothing. There's not going to be anything there. There's no reason to keep hope. I pretty much told him, don't get your hopes up. All hope is lost. And that was, I feel so bad for doing that, because it just, I think that's just what I told myself. That's pretty much what I do in a lot of situations, where I just prepare for the worst. And that's what I did. And I accepted the fact that I lost my baby. So the next day, of course, I called out of work. I made an appointment. It was a nurse practitioner that I was seeing at the time, and she, you know, it kind of was an emergency. She had an available appointment. I was able to go in, and I went with my mom. And I'm gonna try not to cry. My father and I have a very, very tight relationship, where he knew that he was one of the very first people to know that I was pregnant. He was the first person to know that I was pregnant. So when I thought that I had a miscarriage, I think I didn't speak to anyone that night, but he was the first that I spoke to the next day. And I told him. So, you know, he called and checked up on me a couple times. And I remember the street that I was on when he called back. And I think he was busy. He was in the middle of like buying a house or something. And he had stepped out to talk to me. And he just told me that he loved me. And that shit just like, it made me melt. Kind of like how I'm tearing up now. And it was, and he tells me all the time, so it was nothing different, but it was an I love you and I'm here for you, I support you. Anyway, so went to the doctors, and this particular location, it was so underdeveloped that the ultrasound machine, they usually sent me somewhere else. Just so you know, that is not where I delivered my baby. They weren't even really equipped for that. I wound up transferring to another doctor. But so what they did, they had to, you know, do an ultrasound to confirm if there was a baby there or not. And she told me that my baby was still in there. Oh my gosh. I feel like that was better news than finding out that I was pregnant. And at 13 weeks, by that time, you kind of get attached and grow a bond. You never want to hear that you lost your baby. But then she gave me that great news when I told myself that I lost my baby. And then she told me something different. Oh my gosh, it was like, praise be. And when I came out of the room, as my mom was waiting, I didn't even get any words out, just started crying. Like that ugly cry where you would have thought that she had confirmed that I lost the baby. So eventually I was able to get some words out. And anyway, so they sent me to a specialist that had, you know, high-tech equipment, I guess, and they specialized in high-risk pregnancies. And of course I called and told Nate, and he left work and he was right there because that's my baby daddy. And there was just bleeding on the placenta, and they could not tell me why that was, why it happened. They can only guess. And then, you know, they had to watch me closely. And then at that point, that day is when I learned the terminology threatened miscarriage. It was a threatened miscarriage. My body went through all of the changes. And that was a hard time. And of course Ayla is special because she's my baby, but she's such a special little human being. And had gone through that, and I shared my labor and delivery, the little trauma that she's been through with birth, and then thereafter we had to go back to the hospital because she had not an abscess, but like a blister on her foot that caused her to go to the hospital. All of that will be linked down below on those videos. She made it through. She is such a tough cookie. I feel like she's tougher than I am, and I'm so grateful for it. And I just wanted to share this story again because I feel like it could help other women out there. And again, if you know another woman that this can help, please do share it with them and give this video a thumbs up so other women can find it. After that day, when I got the ultrasound, they just, of course, they told me to rest. I took a couple more days off from work, and the bleeding did continue for a couple weeks. But because I was getting frequent ultrasounds, everything was okay. And eventually it stopped. And you know, I've actually shared this story with a co-worker, and she then revealed that she went through something similar, minus the cramping, but the bleeding, and it was a lot of it. And my story helped her, and that's what helped me to decide to, you know what, I'm gonna come on here and put it on YouTube because I feel like my story can help someone. Thank you for sticking through my story time and listening to my experience. And if you have any questions, leave it down below. Like I said, share this with other people that this can help. Give this video a thumbs up so other women can find it. And until you see me again next Thursday, many blessings to you.